critical conversations that shape our nation. We talk to critical stakeholders on topical issues and, of course, current affairs, political affairs, and that's what we do here every day. You do not want to miss any part of the program. Thank you once again for joining us. Emeka Daniel is my name, and good morning to you, Femi.
Good morning, Daniel. Good to see you.
Trust you're good this morning.
I am. Of course, I am. Thank God for life.
Absolutely.
And of course, that's the one gift that we should always be grateful for. And as much you open your eyes in the morning and, you're breathing and you can do all things, glory to God. Now, good morning, Nigeria. Good morning. Well, to Femi Ojo is my name. It gives me great pleasure to be here to talk about these things that truly, truly matters. We are happy to be up again and talk about Nigeria, the Nigerian project, the Nigerian people, advancement, progress, challenges, identifying what they are, critiquing and analyzing the issues, and, ultimately providing solutions to these issues. That is what we do here. That is what gives us joy. But I must say, if it's about being happy, I am not. Many Nigerians are not with what is happening in Benue. We said this yesterday, and we can say it now. Daniel, pictures and videos coming from Benue are gory.
They're not looking good at all.
It looked like a captured state, a helpless state. I think that's what helpless and helpless people.
Quite unfortunate.
It's been terrible.
This has been going on for quite a while now. I mean, every week we hear stories of people being killed. The government officials, they come out, they tell us stories. So this will never happen again. This will stop. And it keeps happening over and over again. Then over the weekend, this one, I think this was the last straw that broke the camel's spine. The people can't, take it anymore. There are videos of people protesting on the street, and we're going to take a look at that later on the show.
Yeah.
We'll be talking more about that. People protesting because they are tired. Then there was also this video of, people chasing out cows from their communities. They're saying they don't want cows anymore, that lives matter. Yeah. Human lives matter more than cows.
The issue is not just about the cow, but what it symbolizes.
Yeah, it symbolizes the herders. The Fulani herders.
They believe they are the problem, and they are their own problem as well. But the president was quoted to have said that he will cancel his visit and his schedule and visit Benue on Wednesday, and tongues have been wagging to say, excuse us, please don't joke with us. He was quoted to have said that I will cancel. Many persons are asking, what exactly is your schedule? What should be your number one schedule?
I don't think he will cancel that visit, because initially he didn't plan to visit Benue. Yeah, so he planned to visit Kaduna.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That he will cancel whatever schedule he has to visit Benue on Wednesday. And many persons are asking that, there are some things that are not needed to be said. Why would the president say he wants to cancel?
Exactly. What's important?
What should be your schedule? Your number one schedule should be the security of lives and properties, just like any other serious nation and president all over the world. But I've not really seen it. I've seen videos of where he said, he will visit Benue on Wednesday. And, and he said he has called the governor. There was a video of where he called the governor, or the governor received a call, rather, from Mr. President. He spoke about how the communities must find a way of living together in harmony and, settling issues and not allowing it to, become a problem. And that word didn't go well with so many people. And they believe maybe the president has been wrongly briefed about these issues, because they're making it to look like it's two communities against each other, or people are not just living in harmony. And by the way, you can't talk about peace without justice.
Absolutely.
That's justice. So you can't be talking about peacemaking process without justice. Oh, you are just going to tell the people who have lost 100 to say, sorry, let everybody just forget it. We take it from here. There are some persons. I saw some very gory footages from the feed of very dark black man, very dark man rather. But these are not things that you can do on the main media, because it's quite gory. And you can see things that I don't want to describe. Very gory sight of infants, toddlers, people who were killed in very terrible circumstances. So all those things are being seen and all those things are being known. Well, I don't want to preempt so that we don't look like we are raising the rebels. But now that Mr. President said, at the end of the day, he will visit Benue, people are waiting. And we hope, I just hope, I don't want to preempt Mr. President. He has series and myriads of people briefing him on security. He won't go there and talk about let's be peaceful, let's live in peace and harmony alone, without going after these criminals on whichever side that has done this thing to these people repeatedly. And we don't care whose tribe is affected. If you're a criminal, you should be treated as one.
Absolutely. Again, a lot of people have criticized the president because before now, he never planned to visit Benue. So people like Peter Obi and other opposition figures, Atiku, I mean, they were like, it shows a lack of empathy. That was the word that Peter Obi used. It shows a lack of empathy on the part of the president. So now he's saying, like you said, that he's going to cancel his scheduled visit to Kaduna to visit Benue, making it look like an afterthought. Come on, it shouldn't be so. I mean, we should be sensitive to the plight
and in this
of the people.
latest attack that happened in Benue, how people are finding it difficult to see that a Pope right there at the Vatican City will speak before our president spoke on issues happening in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Shows, again, it shows
I don't get
how
it.
serious we take lives.
Does that mean the Pope had a briefing before the president?
For the president, that's a big question.
Are you joking?
So again, you know, sometimes when these things happen, what the government, they try to downplay it.
Yeah, I understand that part as well. I understand that part.
In the public, but again, it is what it is.
There is
people
that part.
People have been killed and people have been massacred. It was a massacre.
Well,
and the Pope described
it was a massacre.
The Pope described it as a terrible massacre. Before even the president of Nigeria said anything about it.
And you know, it fits every word, massacre, not because we are trying to be terrible people here, unpatriotic, but you know, we must just say it as it is.
That's what it is.
Because you could see the carnage happened without resistance. Absolutely. There were people who were, I mean, there was one man who has been seen on video to say those assailants came around 10:45. Now, if it's an attack, a community against another community, why not come during the day? You know, and now you came 10:45, did all you could do, and then went away. And we won't be talking about a community against one another here, but you know, I'm not a security expert, but the president would rather take a decisive action on this. And that's why every hands have been pointing at Governor earlier to say, you might not be the CNC, you might not be controlling the security architecture, but they feel maybe he has been silent for too long.
Absolutely.
He has been, you know, he has not been seen to be doing anything. You know, Dr. Not that he's not doing anything, but he has not been seen to be doing anything and to be like a concerned person, apart from the rhetoric that we are sad, we have money, today is a bad day, and all of these things, and it's just been, you know, throwing shades all over the place. We were told that the governor said he was going to have a security report released about people who are sponsoring. If I said politicians in Abuja are the ones responsible for it, can you name them?
Well, you know, one of our security experts here, Dr. Katrin Oniji, he actually, you know, called out the governor of Benue State, Governor Hyacinth Alia, saying he's being hypocritical and insincere about dealing with insecurity in Benue State. That he's not doing enough.
Benue people deserve more.
Something else happened yesterday that also caught my attention. And of course, we'll be playing the video in the course of the program, where the governor, according to reports, so I wouldn't know whether he was in the convoy, but I doubt if he was there, was actually, you know, the government was protecting cows, shielding them, and people were like, so cows are now more important than the lives of the people. So quite a lot, they need to do a lot. The governor of Benue State, he has a lot to do because he has failed woefully in securing the lives of the citizens of Benue
It's a failure on every side.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the president making it look like a sacrifice. You know, I'm going to cancel my visits to Kaduna just to be in Benue.
Cancel a schedule. The thing is, what should be number one on your schedule?
A scheduled visit.
Is it by those projects that Wiki are doing in Abuja? You know, that's all about.
Yeah, you have to make the sacrifice. You know, let me just go to Benue and, you know, see what's going on. That's
I will visit Benue.
Quite unfortunate.
Who should be resident in Benue?
And now the governor has confirmed that about 147 people were killed. That's officially. Now, people will tell you that the figure is quite higher than that. But officially, the governor has confirmed that about 147
people
have been killed.
Dying, being killed in a country And it will take Mr. President
in a state.
Yes, in a state, in a single space.
And he also said that the terrorists before now, the terrorists were in control of about 17 local governments, but now it's just 6.
And now it's just 3. And all of those aspire to Maguire to aspire kind of conversation. This is not what we need.
It's quite shameful.
I think Benue people have been let down.
Absolutely.
They have been disappointed. They have been overwhelmed. And that's why you see them. And, you know, celebrities are picking it up now to say, these people must be heard. I've seen many, you know, skit makers, comedians, entertainers. This is terrible, Daniel. We don't have to be living in Osun and living in Lagos, and it appears like we are relatively safer. Those people there, they are Nigerians.
Absolutely. Even before it got to this level, I've been screaming it. What is going on in Benue? You know, I've been screaming it here, even before it got to this stage, that people are dying every day in Benue,
like 40 was
and
killed.
nothing.
2 weeks later, like 42, and then there were arguments about the scores. Now, official figure from the government, 147 human lives. Okay, we'll wait for the visit of the president to see what will happen there, and if actually this is a nation that we should be proud of. Nigeria is blessed. I maintain that status quo. But maybe our leaders would deserve more. But do we really deserve more? Because sometimes we elect these people across board, legitimately, as they say it on social media or otherwise. It's a shame. We're money. And this is a time for the old world. And one thing I can say is this, and we appear, before we round it off, like a nation that the old world have left on our own. Because if I were to be your neighboring country or the global space, and I see the way things are being handled, you know, you would rather see that these people they are used to it.
They're not serious.
And they are not serious. Because I remember one terror act like 7 years ago that happened near a stadium in France, and the whole world was changing their flag to that of France. If you remember, I stand with France. Who is standing with Nigeria now? Is our leaders even? That's where you should start from. Our leaders even standing with their own people.
Taking it serious. So why should the
Because
world
I can't see the flag anywhere. Nobody is saying I stand with Benue. I stand with the world and all of those things. Possibly when Al Jazeera shows it, or Press TV, or the other CNN guys and all of those things, you see it as a news. Not like the whole world is concerned.
Exactly.
The world have just left us alone. We can't blame them. You are expecting United States, UK, France, Russia to say they stand with Nigeria. The thing is, our leaders,
are they standing
with the people?
Absolutely.
Are you standing with the people? Because it appears obviously not. We mourn for the people in Benue, and it's a sad one. Nigerians deserve better. No schedule, no plans, no itinerary should be more, important than the security of lives and property, and we deserve better as a people. We'll go on this quick break. I will make a return. Stay with us. Right. Thank you for staying with us. And on the program today, as we usually do, we look at the headlines. The Nation is my first point of call for today. Tinubu heads for Benue to galvanize against serial killings. And Tinubu heads for Benue to galvanize against serial killings. Interesting headline here, if you ask me. Galvanize. All right. Earlier confirms death of 147 in latest attack. Akume, Ribadu, Egbetokun, others sent to Makudi. Interesting. All right.
You begin to wonder why Egbetokun.
The IGP was in Benue yesterday, and I saw the meeting I had, and it was like those criminals should know, that those were not his exact words, but they should know that their days are numbered, kind of a thing. And Nigerians will ask and say, their days should not be numbered. You are not still giving them days. They should be rooted off like now. Who are they? But then, all right, the president is heading there to galvanize, according to the Nation newspaper. Earlier confirms death of 147 in the latest attack. Now, then we must be talking about roughly like 300 in the last 2 months. Because in fact, there was 268 before now.
Well
that should be like 400
plus, yes.
Human lives in one single state. Interesting. And FRS extends service period to ease tax collection. $470 million Greater Abuja Water Supply Project begins operation. $470 million Greater Abuja Water Supply Project begins operation. Nice one there. And the economy inflation rate drops to 22.97%. Experts raise hope on economy. Inflation rate drops to 22.97%. Experts raise hope on economy. And why this should sound like, a bit of a good news, right? Many analysts are worried if this is really an organic, progress that we are making, an organic movement. Now, when the inflation are getting that, because there are some who still believe these things are being cushioned, inorganically, if you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Economically speaking, in a way to appear, to make it look like the people that things are getting better.
Yes.
Now. And, one doesn't need to be unpatriotic or pessimistic, but as they say, time shall tell. Now, if this decline, in the inflation rate is consistent, and we are seeing gradual easing or stabilizing, then people will know that this is not just cushioning from somewhere to appear like the government is working, but it gives me more concern if actually things appear on paper, right, even negligibly now, not really significantly, that they are getting better, and the people are still doubting. That means something is wrong.
What's the effect of, I've always
we should be happy.
What's the effect of reduction in inflation? Okay, now they're saying it's at 22.97.
Yeah.
The question is reduction from what? That's the point. Starting from March when it was 23.43 thereabout. So what's the difference?
Right.
Now 22.97 is roughly 23, almost 23.0, and we are around that 23 before. So by what extent has inflation dropped, headline inflation? Then again, how has it affected the people? If you ask me, these are not really significant. So they should just stop this propaganda of celebrating it.
And Nigerians want to see it in action.
Absolutely.
Any progress that's been explained doesn't look like a progress. You don't have to explain to me that I'm fine. Absolutely. I should know that I'm fine. If I can't see before and now I can see, I don't need explanation. I can see, I know. And these are some of the issues. But when it appears that we are making progress, no matter how negligible it is, and people are still casting shadow on it, and this is not a position of politics staying, then I think the government needs to do more, even when people want to believe them. Now, IG, Conference of Speakers clash over state police. Inspector General, Conference of Speakers clash over state police. And Minister, our borders porous. Really interesting for the minister to say our border is porous.
Yeah, no, you just found out. Before now it's been shrouded in secrecy. So you just realize that. Come on, I think our borders are porous.
Were you aware, Daniel, that our borders are porous?
No, the minister just informed us.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Minister. That will be all from the Nation newspaper.
Absolutely. From the Nation newspaper this morning, we take a look at the front page of This Day newspaper. Let's take a look at some of the headlines on the front page of This Day newspaper this morning. Tinubu reschedules visit to Kaduna, heads to Benue tomorrow, that's Wednesday, to calm nerves over persistent killings. You find that story on page 24. Tinubu reschedules visit to Kaduna, heads to Benue tomorrow to calm nerves over persistent killings. Still talking about the president's scheduled visit to Benue. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and the president hopefully will be there on ground to address issues and like they've reported in some stories, to galvanize efforts to tackle this problem. But again, Nigerians want to see the president taking a decisive action against these terrorists, against these bandits, against these criminals. Not just coming out, like you said, not just coming out to say, the people should live in peace and all that. Not just, blanket statements like that. You should be decisive as a president. The president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. When things like this happen elsewhere in other parts of the world, let's say the United States, for instance, you see the president coming out and saying, the perpetrators will be caught, will be dealt with. And when he says that, when the president of America says that, he's not joking. That is exactly what will happen.
Sorry, I now remember what Jegbetokun said. What he used was the fact that those criminals should know that one day they will come and they will not return. The question is, should you even allow them to come? Why should they come? You should go to them, find where they are. But the IGP is more like, you know, there is an adage around there, like all the days for the thief and one day for the owner. We don't want any days for the
security
thief.
Professional.
And that one day they will come and they will not return. No, we don't have to wait for them to come. Rule them off. That is the issue. Yeah. And another thing here, you know, is the fact that the visit of the president, Nigerians are waiting to see. Will you just stay in Makurdi? Will you just visit the government house or wherever and then make a return? Because if he wants this, if the president wants this thing to show him in a good light, he should visit those places.
Absolutely.
He should talk with those people. Have town hall meetings. Don't just allow politicians to brief you. It will amount. I'm not sure when the president visits, if he visits or when he visits, and then the only meeting he will have is with the governor
and
the cabinet and the politicians. That would be a waste of visit. You rather stay in your butcher because the governor can always come to you and brief you.
Absolutely.
Speak with these people. Have a town hall meeting. Let them speak. That's where you can hear the truth.
I know, again, Femi.
And I'm sure Mr. President is experienced enough to know that.
You know, what is happening in Benue, why I see it as a total failure of our government, of our leaders and our security agencies is that this is not just happening today. In other parts of the world, we have flashes, cases of crime here and there. You know, when security experts in Nigeria start arguing that, of course, it's not only in Nigeria, we have these challenges. I tell them to keep quiet. Here's why. Benue State, this is not just a one-off incident. It has been happening repeatedly, over and over again in the same place. And you cannot deal with it. You call yourself security experts. Right under your watch, people are being killed every week, week on week. People are being killed. You can't do anything about it. And you're saying it's not only in Nigeria. So it's a total failure of our security agencies, of our intelligence network, whatever it is. They have failed woefully, and they should see it like that. Because Adibini just happened. Adibini was just a one-off, you know, incident. You say, oh, it happens. But here, it's been happening right under your watch in a state.
And it's been happening for years, actually.
For years. And now it has escalated week on week. People are being killed.
This dimension.
And you are still saying stories that one day they will come, they won't go back. Come on, I think as experts, we should choose, our words carefully. Again, someone else the other day was calling for people to fast and pray.
That's in the agricultural.
Leaders telling people,
the agricultural sector.
Telling people to
it has been withdrawn, by the way.
Fast and pray. Fast and pray. I'll just leave it at that before I say something else. So moving on to other stories, still on the front page of this day newspaper. In CBN's return to orthodoxy, First Hold Coal faces $887 million exposure. In CBN's return to orthodoxy, First Hold Coal faces $887 million exposure with riders right there. We have GTB, Stanbic, clear of forbearance as Zenith, Access Bank, UBA, FCMB faces headwinds over ITO, Nikon, Nine Mobile, Wemco loans rather, with another rider. NGX banking index falls by 4%. You can check up that story right in the This Day newspaper this morning. And that'll be all from the front page of This Day newspaper this morning.
All right, from This Day, let's take a look at the Punch. The Punch for today. Now, still, that all papers, but that's the biggest thing in Nigeria right now. Benue bloodbath. CDS, IG launch cross-border manhunt for killers. Benue bloodbath. Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General launch cross-border manhunt for killers with the rider Tinubu to visit Benue Wednesday. President moves to reconcile Akume and Governor Alia. These are the issues. Now, you know, there's a political issue, even in the Benue APC, the governor's camp on one side, the SGF camp on another side, the Abuja politician, according to the governor on one side. And it will be, for me, it will be insensitive if anything political is discussed in this visit of Mr. President. That would be totally...
But it's right there. It's right there in the agenda.
No, I'm just saying.
It's right
now,
there.
Except there is a part of these Benue killings that needs to be addressed, that should be addressed, that must be addressed, that has to do with both camps. accept. But if it's about alignment and political conversation, that would be the most insensitive thing right now. Because the SGF, where he is, most likely, humanly speaking, might not be attacked. The governor in the State House might not be attacked. So if they're having fight within themselves, that's their problem. As far as this visit is concerned, I think the president, many persons are watching. I am watching to see what will really go on.
And if you ask me, talking about the current situation in Benue, both camps, whatever you call them, all the politicians, all the political divides, they don't really matter in this case, if you ask me. They are irrelevant, whether Akume, Alia, whether they are fighting or not.
Both camps should be a shame camp.
Absolutely.
All of them. The SGF is on one side. The governor is on one side, and people are dying. And we can't see the effort of both camps. Whatever camp, their camp should better remain shameful. And whatever they have done, not to help the people, but the president have a lot to do. And many persons are watching keenly his speech, his tone, but very importantly, the actions that will be taken. If we were there here on your mandate,
let's see. Femi, let's see.
All of those rhetorics that people play off, we wait to see.
Inadvertently, the politician in him might just betray him again.
Let's give him, let Nigerians are giving him, because his visit at this time is the #1 person. He's the commander-in-chief. That is not a title, it's a responsibility.
Absolutely.
Daniel, the title, yes, it's a title, but it's not just an appellation. It's not for pride.
Of course.
It doesn't just come with the office because you are in office. It's a responsibility, commander-in-chief, for a reason. And if we will go there and people will learn that an APC conversation happens in that visit, I'm not sure the president will be doing himself well.
Absolutely.
In the guise of many persons who are still cutting him, who might still be cutting him some slack to say, let's see what he will do. And Nigerians are waiting for what he will do. That will be all from the Punch.
And from the front page of the Punch newspaper, we move to the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. We take the banner headline from the Daily Trust newspaper. Benue killings. David Mark warns of self-defense as Tinubu visits. Benue killings. David Mark warns of self-defense as Tinubu visits. Talking about David Mark, former Senate president, also former military chief, is warning of self-defense. How long? I mean, people should defend themselves. I mean, if you're being killed over and over again by terrorists, you should just defend yourself. General T.Y. Danjuma said before, I mean, that they should defend themselves. Because if the government is failing in defending you, just imagine, imagine you're right in your home, and you see someone trying to kill you. Look at Israel, for instance. Majority of them are trained to defend themselves. Majority of them carry weapons because they know that is the only way to survive in that territory. Those living in the West Bank, those living in Gaza, you just have to defend yourself. It is not by praying and fasting. There's a place for prayer and there's a place for fighting. So David Mark right here is warning that people might just start defending themselves. I think it's a little bit too late already. You should stand up and defend yourself. And that'll be all from the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. All
right, a quick one from the Nigerian Tribune for today. The Nigerian Tribune, and it has this: Benue defense chief vows to take battle to terrorists as Tinubu visits state tomorrow. The defense chief vows to take battle to terrorists as Tinubu visits state tomorrow. And with riders, mindless act of terror will be curtailed. IGP, that's from the IGP, saying the mindless act of terror will be curtailed. That's from the him. And 17 Benue local government areas were under siege, now reduced to 6. Governor, interesting one there. And the governor, at the forum yesterday, talked about how, the president or the federal government has really been helping in the matter, because there have been insinuations that the government at the federal, at the center, have not really been helpful. And the governor came out to say, no, we have been helped. It was terrible than this before. Now it will only have issues in 6 places and all of those things. Well, possibly that's many persons will say maybe that's the governor Who wants to set the record straight?
Who were the people in that gathering, in that meeting?
Well,
you know, before things get to this level in some places, they'll start throwing stuff. I've seen people throwing shoes at at president, at their leaders. I mean, we should be sensitive when we shouldn't try to.
Maybe just
our
want
leaders,
to say, yeah, we have been helped.
You know what,
we have not been abandoned.
No, Femi, I think our leaders should try. They should stop politicizing everything. Things are not looking good in your state. People are dying. Scores of people, over 100 people, you confirmed about 147 people
from
died.
the governor.
And you're making it look as if you're trying to paint it, you're trying to make it look good. That, after all, before now, 17 local governments were controlled by terror. Now it's just 6. Come on, so we should clap for that.
Well,
we should clap for you.
It's everybody's concerns right now, and this is time for us to speak up across party lines. It's not to score. Even the opposition party should not use this one to score political points. It's not about politics. At all. It's about human
lives.
Exactly.
Human life.
We'll go on this quick break. When we return, we talk properly about what the issues are. We started the conversation yesterday, and the expert we're having with us today to really look into these issues from the government side, from the people's side. What can the people do? From the defense side. And who are these people? That's a question many Nigerians have been asking. What is the end game? Are we pampering them? What do they have on the Nigerian state that is making them to do all of this? And how do we move on from here decisively? Especially as the Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has decided to visit them tomorrow. This is not about Benue. This is about Nigeria. This is about humanity. Stay with us.